This is such an important lesson for you as you think about marketing, and it's something that I learned quite a long time ago, and it's called the marketing tactical triangle. I actually learned it from Jack Bourne and Perry Marshall. I actually learned it from Perry Marshall back in 2009. I was associated with Perry Marshall. I was part of a group with him, but he learned it from Jack Bourne. And Jack Bourne was somebody that he worked with who's a software developer and does a lot of marketing related stuff. But this concept, the marketing tactical triangle, has been so important to my ability to think about, process, deal with, coach through people as they think about their marketing. And so I want to explain the marketing tactical triangle, and it's really simple, and yet it's so profound. So the marketing triangle basically has within it three major sections. The first being traffic, second being conversion, third being economics. And when you think about all marketing fits within this triangle. So traffic, basically the premise, in order to sell something, you have to have traffic. Traffic is anyone, those people, your prospect list, anyone who might come to you or you might try and find in order to sell them something. Conversion is the ability to take what they have heard from you and translate it into a sale. Economics is actually the actual financial puzzle that goes with that sale. And when you think about economics, it's really, did we sell for more than we paid to buy that client, that sale? So when you think about this, it's really traffic comes in, it becomes a conversion, it becomes economics. And I'll explain this in more detail, but to get the premise right, you have to understand that in order to sell something, you have to have traffic. Anybody who will buy something that you're selling, they have to convert, which means they have to take the language, their need, their requirements, and actually pay you money for it. And that creates economics for you. And then around the circle, you keep going. Now, there's this interesting piece in the middle called 80-20. And 80-20 is the Pareto principle. It was Richard Koch sort of enhanced that. And the 80-20 concept is really this. It's about leverage, and it's that 80% of the results come from 20% of the input. 80% of your revenue likely comes from 20% of your clients. 80% of your results and your profit in your business likely comes from 20% of the activity. And so leverage can then be put and placed on each of these areas, from traffic through conversion through economics. So in traffic, you might have a various and sundry group of things that drive traffic to your business. And by traffic, I mean prospects, opportunities. But you might discover that 80% of your results actually come, say, from your web page. That's where a majority of your new prospects show up. Conversion is a specific page on your site might actually produce a better result than many other pages on your website. If they all come from that place, you can actually seek to see where all your conversions happen. And a lot of conversions happen in very specific ways. And so you have a leverage point there when you understand that economics, a significant amount of your profit may come from a certain type of sale you're making within your business that really drives the result for you. So within the triangle, while there are traffic, conversion, and economics, there's also this 80-20 leverage piece sitting in the middle that's always in play, always reminding you where's the leverage in what we're doing. All right, let's just jump back into this in a better way, because really when you think about this, when you think about this triangle, you start over here by saying, who will buy this thing I'm selling? Who will actually buy this? Because not everyone in the world is going to buy what you're offering. So the first question becomes, who's going to buy what we are selling? The second part of that, and actually goes to some economics, is can we reach them affordably? Can we actually find the buyer that we need in an affordable way so that we can make a profit in this process. And then what can we say to persuade them to buy? What can we actually say, do, interject in the process that it makes them more likely to buy? And once you've asked those three questions, you really have the essence of the tactical triangle. And then each of those questions can intersect with the 80-20 principle of where do we have leverage in each of those particular categories. So when you think about it, you need traffic in order to get conversion. So we just follow the lines in a clockwise way. We need traffic in order to get conversion. We need conversion in order to create revenue and help us with the economics. So we're always processing what we're doing in a clockwise way, but interesting as you think about this, the secret to actually understanding this is to think backwards. So let's over here and start with economics. In your shredding business, the first question is, when you go out and do let's say a purge job, are you actually making money on the purge? That's the first economic question. Or if you're trying to sell a purge that makes money, then you back yourself into, how do we get a client to buy a purge? How do we get a prospect to buy a purge? What's the offer we have to make? What's the compelling proposition that we have? How are we going to sell them on this purge that they're going to come to us? And so once we understand what we're selling and the economics of that, then the second question becomes, how are we going to convert someone who needs it into somebody who's purchased it? And then from there, we back ourselves into, how are we going to find traffic? How are we going to find people, opportunities for those who need a purge to come to us? Notice the whole process unfolding here, but you got to think backwards to get there. And so here we have the tactical triangle model. So when we're thinking about marketing, we're actually processing ourselves backwards. So not only do we start with, how much money do we make with a purge, we have to kind of back ourselves up and say, how much does it cost me to actually get a client, right? So that's an economic question. So I not only have to take, how do I service a purge, but I've got to back myself into, how much does it cost me to actually get that purge? And so that's the cost of sale. How much did it cost me to produce that sale in my marketing process? Then we back into that stage of conversion. And really what we're trying to make sense of there is how many opportunities came in that were actually converted. Like, how did we actually convert those? So if we got 100 opportunities, how many showed up at our actually as sales? And was the economics of that effective? And what was the percentage of close that happened? Then we go back in and we go, well, how much traffic do we need to actually produce the conversions we need to produce the cost of sale that we need to actually make a purge profitable? And so what you start to see is the process whereby we're using the tactical triangle to make good economics happen for us. So let's jump a little bit further, because one of the things you notice in the tactical triangle is that it's fractal. And fractal means within every triangle is another set of triangles. And if we had this infinite scope, you would realize within every triangle here, there's another set of triangles. But let's say that traffic has its own tactical triangle within it. So traffic is, how do we get people, how do we get opportunities to us to buy what we're selling? And so within traffic, when you think about the tactical triangle, we think about, well, within traffic, the first thing we know, let's say we're just using Google Ads as the model. So we've shrunk this down, not everybody, but we're just using Google Ads. We're not even using search engine optimization. We're not using anything else. All we're doing is Google Ads. And a Google ad, the traffic part is really what we call impressions. And so impressions are the number of people that actually see your ad. So somebody searching for shredding services near me, and if your Google ad shows up, we call that an impression. So the first question becomes, in this tactical triangle, within only the traffic section, which is how many impressions did we get? That's what we're going to call traffic in this case. Once we go up to conversions is really ultimately the people who see the ad and the words in that ad and they click. So an impression to a click. So this is the number of clicks your ad gets, right? So we've got impressions, which is traffic, conversion, which is clicks. And then we come down here and we look at the economics, and that's going to be the cost per click, right? So now what you're seeing was within the Google ad structure, we have the tactical triangle. So it's fractal. And then here in the middle, if we think about 80-20, we know that a certain amount of ads produce a significantly higher return on their investment. So the more you understand impressions to conversion to click ratio, and you understand the cost of those clicks, and now you can start to leverage them by doing certain things in specific activity, you understand how the tactical triangle now works with Google Ads. All right, let's go one further. Let's talk about inbound calls to your shredding business. So this is the tactical triangle up in the conversion section. So I've just highlighted it here. So we're in the conversion. So people have come to, assume people have come to your website, or they've come to some other source, some other traffic source. And out of that, a certain percentage of those people make a call. So now we're going to actually go fractal. We're going to go within this part of the triangle, the conversion part of the triangle, and we're going to think from a triangle again. So in terms of traffic, this is actually the volume of calls. How many calls, basically the number of calls that came in that your marketing generated. Now, those number of calls then have a conversation, or maybe they don't, but as much as possible, the conversion part of that is really about conversations. How many conversations actually happened that moved a caller from being interested in shredding to actually buying, right? Or setting up actually setting a time or date for shredding to happen, or buying a ongoing service from you. So we have the number of calls coming in. From a conversion perspective, we have a conversation leading to a buy, an actual agreement to purchase your services. And then we come down here and we start to look at the economics related to that and the number of sales from those inbound calls. So what's the actual volume or the gross amount of sales, or conversely, the profit that comes out of those specific sales. So now that you see what's starting to happen here, we've moved from traffic to conversion, and now we're in a triangle within that. Let's go one step further. Now let's go into this concept is purge sales, and now we're in the economic side of it. So when you think about this, you think about, okay, down here in terms of traffic, let's call this all, right? All the purge sales you've done. All the purge sales. So that's the gross revenue from purges. And then from a conversion perspective, we might ask how much of that purge business was at a premium price versus how much did we have to discount, right? So how many offers, how many opportunities that came in got converted at either a premium, at a discount, or at your standard pricing. And a lot of times when I've talked to people, what I discover is a lot of times they're discounting, they're constantly discounting. And so what's happening is all of their gross revenue, the gross revenue that comes in, let's call that the traffic part of your economics, converts, but instead of it necessarily being at premium prices, a lot of it's discounted, right? And so the economics down here is all about profit. Profit per purge, or overall profit for all your purge business. And so now what you're beginning to see is we can take the tactical triangle and dig in deeper and dig in deeper and dig in deeper in each step of this. And so what I want you to do when you think about this is look at your tactical triangle. So traffic, conversion, economics. You're going to actually dig into the details of that, and then you're going to come back and say, what do we do to improve that? And so ultimately the question, I'm going to go back one here. So ultimately the question becomes, can we improve or can we gain leverage in any one of these areas? And so the question that we're always asking is, what's the number one thing I need to improve next? And you start at the bigger triangle and you start, do I need to improve traffic, conversion, or economics? Now, the thing I'm going to say to you as you think about this is you can't outrun bad economics. And so often people try and increase the number of sales they're getting. They're increasing the amount of people coming to their website. So they're buying more traffic to get more conversion, but the economics are bad. And so if you got bad economics, you can't solve that through traffic and conversion. So the first place I like to start, if I'm looking at somebody as a coach, first place I like to look at is economics. Do they have the economics right? When we get the economics right, then let's go back and look at conversion, right? We're going to go back around the circle counterclockwise, or the triangle counterclockwise, and we're going to go, how do we improve conversion? So how do we improve, if our economics are right in terms of what we're selling, can we go back into the conversion cycle and go, can we improve the number of leads that become sales? Can we improve the cost of those conversions? And then you go back, once you got conversions right, then you go back into traffic and you go, how do we get more traffic for a effective economic price? How do we improve that? What kinds of traffic do we need that come at an effective price in order to convert, in order to make good economics? And so what you're seeing is the tactical triangle at work. And what I hope that you get from this is you understand and clearly see the power of the marketing tactical triangle. And if you want help with this, let me know. I'd love to talk you through it even more specifically to your business. But when you think about marketing, you should never, ever miss going forward. Do I have the tactical triangle in place? And am I looking at my marketing through the structure and through the framework of the tactical triangle? I hope that helps. We'll talk to you soon.